EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Martich here with your outlook for August 29th, 2023. It is, of course, Tuesday, and we have another cloudy image behind me because we have another cloudy day to deal with today. Not a lot of wave precipitation. We're going to have the upper-level trough starting to move away. It's going to completely pull through here on early Wednesday morning, but and then I'll be out of here. But we do have a few showers across parts of the area today. This, of course, is a major hurricane. This is Franklin, that is going to thankfully remain off the coast because this thing is an absolute buzzsaw. And it is a Category 4 at the time this was recorded, 150 mile per hour sustained winds with this thing, and a very defined concentric eye here. This is just a dangerous storm, and thankfully it's going to miss not only the east coast of the United States. There's the Carolinas here in the top left of your image here, just showing there's South Carolina right here. There's North Carolina. Bermuda in this image is right here where I'm circling. So that is going to miss Bermuda too, it looks like. It is going to turn to the northeast and head north of Bermuda, but I don't expect this to have too much of an impact there. Maybe some squally weather as it's moving by with some feeder bands moving around the hurricane, but not a direct hit, thankfully, looking like for anywhere, even up in Newfoundland when it passes by there too. So it looks like just to go into the northern Atlantic rather harmlessly, and thankfully so, because this is a certainly a buzzsaw of a hurricane. Moving off. And the reason it's moving off the coast in this case is because we have a trough that is settling over the northeast United States. We talked about this over the last couple of days and why that is going to be missing, but in case you missed that discussion from yesterday, I'll just give you a quick overview of that. There is a incoming trough that's settling over the northeast like this. The steering flow is like that, so it's moving to the north tonight, but as that trough catches it, and this is looking at early Tuesday afternoons, and to continue going north, and it's going to start turning to the northeast like this. Okay, and that's because the steering flow around this trough is like this. So it's going to pick it up and save the eastern United States from any issues. It may be far enough east of an offshore here. I mean, this is offshore by a good 1,000 miles almost. The rip currents will be there, and there's a rip current threat today. And also on Wednesday, but it's not going to be as great as it would have been if it was a lot closer, obviously. So the swells and the coastal flooding shouldn't be an issue here locally with this, as it's staying far enough offshore. And let's get over to the NAM high-res future simulated radar. I'm going to just show you the showers that are today. They're across South Jersey earlier this morning, and they're going to move across mainly Jersey today, okay? Mainly your eastern areas is where this is taking place, but you could get something here in southeast PA, quick shower, and that's it. Not a real big deal today, but elsewhere we're going to have plenty of clouds, okay? So when we get in the overnight period, after midnight is when we start seeing an increase in these showers moving eastward and periods of rain. That'll go all the way into early Wednesday morning. This is looking at 8 o'clock now on Wednesday morning, and see some leftover showers here very early in the day on Wednesday, and that moves off by noon, moves off the coast, and that should be it. Not only for Wednesday, but it for the remainder of the week. We don't have anything, including Labor Day weekend. Looks pretty good. Now, I want to focus on Idalia, which is down here in the at the time this video is recorded, is still technically a tropical storm. It won't be very much longer, though. It's expected to strengthen into a hurricane and then take advantage of a lower shear environment over the eastern Gulf of Mexico and a very warm, abnormally warm, 1 to 2 degrees Celsius above normal, in fact, water temperatures that is going to be going over. There's some 31, 30, even 32 degrees Celsius, and that's pretty warm. If you want to talk about bath water, it's pretty warm water. So that's just fuel for any hurricane, and if you have a lower shear environment, it can breathe and expand. I don't know if it's going to look like that necessarily, because that's bad, and this is a borderline Category 5, and it might even reach Category 5 by the time we hit during the day here on Tuesday. Or by the time some of you are watching this, might already be designated a Category 5 at that point. Who knows? I don't think we're dealing with that kind of strength, but it's going to get certainly Category 3 is what we're expecting, maybe even borderline 4. So we'll see as this moves up the coast here. It might not have enough time to reach its full potential, but it is going to take aim here at the Big Bend of Florida. Now, the recent runs tonight, and these are from the hurricane specialty models. There's several of them. And I can list all of them. I'm not talking about the NAM. The NAM is not something we need to be using for tropical cyclone intensity. But this does take aim at the Big Bend of Florida. This is the 12Z run of the European model. I want to show you what it did on the most recent run, and this has been a trend on the most recent runs this evening as well. There's a 12Z run landfall. 18Z, see that? It's further northwest. So now this gets Tallahassee in the game here. So this is this whole area here that we're talking about is the Big Bend area of Florida, but further northwest in the Big Bend would get Tallahassee a little bit more of an impact, even though they're inland by a good, 30, 40 miles inland, about 40, I think. No, about 30. About 30 miles inland. But you still get a lot of impacts with rain, wind, not storm surge there, but wind certainly. And this is up in the Appalachia Bay area, up by Alligator Point, which is kind of right to the west of where this landfall point is. So it's very close there. So that would be something that would be more impactful for a bigger city in Florida. And that's, of course, the capital of Florida. Now, once this makes landfall, at the same time, we have this trough settling over the northeast United States right here. Here's that trough coming in here like this. So the same thing that's steering Franklin now northeast, okay, is the same thing that's going to take this out here like this, okay, in this direction, or that general idea, okay? And the reason is because this trough is here. Again, the steering flow is like this, so it's going to pick it up and move it out in that direction and not in our region, okay? So we're not expecting any localized impacts from this whatsoever. And here's what the European model does at 18Z. This is the most recent run. It takes it off the Carolina coast here. It gets up very close to the coastline, so there'll still be some impacts to places like Savannah, Myrtle Beach, all along the southern coast of North Carolina as well, before, and maybe even all the way up to the Outer Banks, as a tropical storm force storm here at this point after it crosses land. But then it just heads eastward, and it even starts drifting a little bit southeast here at the end of the run. And the National Hurricane Center track is actually doing something like that too. If I'll pull that image up, this is the latest National Hurricane Center advisory at 11 o'clock at the most recent time I have before this video. It does have a hurricane here on Tuesday morning already, and then going into making landfall here at as a major hurricane in that Big Bend area of Florida. Okay, so that is definitely, it's been very good with this track for the last couple of days of where it's expected to go. They now have hurricane watches or hurricane warnings up in the red areas here, which is the entire Big Bend area. It goes all the way back to Alligator Point, so it's pretty, Tampa to Alligator Point, that's a big area. Tropical storm force, tropical storm warnings were in effect a little bit further south, down toward the Naples and Sarasota area. And then on the East Coast, on the opposite side, when it comes all across land here, it's still going to be strong enough to produce tropical storm force winds from, say, Cape Canaveral or thereabout all the way up to Savannah. And then they have a tropical storm watch up further north. It goes up to Myrtle Beach. So there's a lot going on there, but that's because it's expected to take this path. But I see with the bend here, it heads east off the coast and then starts drifting east-southeast from there, okay, and still away from the northeast United States. We are not dealing with this at all. In fact, we're going to have some fantastic weather. One of the best Labor Day weekends in years, I think. We're going to have a cooler start to the weekend. We're going to have Thursday, Friday kind of hanging in the 70s. Saturday on either side of 80 degrees, and then Sunday, Monday, and beyond, we're going to get some very warm temperatures in here and above average temperatures to round out the holiday weekend. So it's going to be a warmer end of the weekend, but no precipitation for this entire time during the holiday weekend. This goes all the way through Monday here, and then you can keep just going to Tuesday. Next chance of any precipitation wouldn't come, and that's a maybe, wouldn't come to the end of the following week. So the end of next week, okay? So this is after Labor Day weekend, and even that's still questionable. It looks like a weak front, and that's it. Okay, so we'll see. Not a lot of precipitation coming, but I do expect that we're going to have a warming trend that's going to be in the latter part of the holiday weekend, of the Labor Day holiday weekend, so Sunday, Monday especially. But then that's going to continue Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday, some temperatures in the 90s, actually, as we get into the middle of next week. And it looks like it's going to remain warm, or at least slightly warmer than average for the most part, going straight through the middle of September. So it's going to be a warm start to the month, it looks like. And we'll be along for the ride. I'm EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Marchers. That is your outlook for August 29th, 2023. Have a great Tuesday.